Calvin cycle regenerates the starting material after the molecules enter the cycle. Calvin cycle is anabolic, giving energy to build sugar from smaller molecules. Carbon enters the cycle as CO2 and leaves as sugar. The cycle spends the energy of ATP and the reducing power of electrons carried by NADP to make sugar. The actual sugar product of the Calvin cycle is not glucose, but a free-carbon sugar, glycidyl hydrogen 3-phosphate, also known as G3P. Each turn of the Calvin cycle fixes one carbon. With the net synthesis of one G3P molecule, the cycle must take place 3 times, fixing 3 molecules of CO2. To make one glucose molecule requires 6 cycles and the fixation of 6 CO2 molecules. The Calvin cycle has 3 phases.
The first phase of the Calvin cycle is the carbon fixation. In this phase, the cycle incorporates each CO2 molecule one at a time by attaching it to a 5-carbon sugar named ribulose biphosphate, or RUBP. The enzyme that catalyzes the first step is Rubisco. The reaction is a 6-carbon intermediate so unstable that it immediately splits in half to make 2 molecules of 3-phosphate.
Phase 2. Reduction. So for each 3-phosphoglycerate, each one will get another phosphate group from ATP, making each of them a 3-biphosphoglycerate. Now, a pair of electrons from the NADPH reduces the 1,3-biphosphoglycerate, which also loses another phosphate group, becoming G3P. This is the same G3P that is formed when splitting glucose. And remember, for every 3 CO2 molecules, 6 G3P molecules are formed. Only one of these 3 can be used as a net gain. At the beginning of the cycle, we'll start with 15 carbons in the form of RUBP, 3 molecules, and it will end in 18 carbons in the form of G3P in 6 molecules. Only one molecule gets to exit to be used by the plant cell. So you will have 6 molecules of G3P, but only one will be able to exit.
Phase 3, or regeneration of the CO2 acceptor, or RUBP. So in this phase, 5 G3P molecules are rearranged into 3 RUBP molecules. And during this phase, the cycle spends 3 more ATP molecules, turning it into ADP. So when the 3 RUBP molecules are synthesized, they then go to the start of the Calvin cycle, so they can be ready to receive CO2 again, and the cycle continues from there.
With rapid evolving climates in today's world, photosynthesis has to evolve. Many people are concerned with metabolic adaptations. An example is the compromise between photosynthesis and the prevention of excessive water loss from a plant. On hot, dry days, most plants close their stigma to conserve water, but this limits the access of CO2. Then CO2 concentrations begin to decrease and O2 begins to increase. These conditions are called photorespiration.
Photorespiration. Sweet. So first you start out with your C3 bonds, and these are each a 3-carbon compound. Examples of this are rice, wheat, and soybean. So in the air, when it gets too hot or just bad climates, you decrease in CO2 levels. Now this means you are also starving this Calvin cycle. Therefore, O2 is added by the Rubisco. O2 creates a 2-carbon compound and it leaves the chloroplast. peroxisomes in the mitochondria are what split the molecule, which release the CO2.
C4 plants. So C4 plants are named that because they start the Calvin cycle with an alternate way of carbon fixation, which forms a 4-carbon compound as its first product. Some examples of these plants are sugarcane and corn. So these C4 plants have 2 types of photosynthetic cells, one of which is called mesophyll cells, or which are between. The other type of cells are called sheath cells and the leaf surface. The bundle sheath cells are tightly packed around the veins of the leaf. So in step 1 of the carbon fixation cycle, an enzyme called PEP carboxylase adds CO2 to PEP or phosphoenolpyruvate, forming oxaloacetate, a 4-carbon product. This process happens in the mesophyll cells. Step 2, the mesophyll cells export their products to the bundle sheath cells through plasmodesmata. And in step 3, or the final step, happens in the bundle sheath cells. The 4-carbon compound releases CO2, which generates pyruvate. CO2 goes into the Calvin cycle, and pyruvate goes to the mesophyll cells, where ATP is then used to convert it back to EEP, or PEP, allowing the cycle to continue. So the advantage of this is that the plant's growing in hot regions with intense sunlight where the stomata partially close during the day. This allows for photorespiration, and this also enhances the sugar production.
In many succulent plants like cactus and pineapples, they open their stomas during the night and close them during the day. Closing their stomas during the day help plants conserve water but also prevent CO2 from entering the leaves. During the night when the stoma is open, these plants take up CO2 and incorporate it into a variety of organic acids. This is carbon fixation,